All right, that was Charles Barkley last night on TNT's halftime show, not being shy about giving Klay Thompson his thoughts on the Warriors' chances for this season and beyond. It was good to see Klay on set there with them, Candace Parker. How far away are the Warriors from another chip, Stephen A?
Well, they're very far. They're very far this year. They're certainly not going to win it this year, in my estimation. I think that they're just a piece away after this year once Klay comes back healthy. You know, I believe in Klay Thompson. I think that Klay Thompson, a legitimate argument could be made that he is the second greatest shooter in the history of basketball. And I think in terms of spot-up shooting ability, he might be number one. The reason why we absolutely give Steph Curry the advantage is because Steph Curry, that nasty handle of his and how he shoots off the dribble, Klay, that's not Klay. And so because of that, we got to give Steph that amount of love. But I'm telling you right now, Klay Thompson's movement without the basketball, his post-up and turnaround jump shooting ability, his spot-up shooting ability, his long-range shooting ability, Klay Thompson is the truth. He is a future Hall of Famer. I'm tired of people not talking about that with him. He is that great of a player, period. And obviously, he's exponentially better than Steph Curry as a defender. So when you look at him and Klay and Steph together, I believe all you need after that is a third scorer, preferably on your front line. That's it. Somebody on your front line. It can't be another guard, like or whatever, because we're talking about defense needing to be played as well. You should be happy I said that. The point is, on your front line, somebody that can give you 18 to 20. That's what you need. And they're not going to have that this year. So I'm not saying they're going to win the championship this year. I don't think that it's over in terms of how Barkley came across like they can never win again. I don't believe they're going to win this year, but I do believe that when Klay Thompson comes back, he's coming back this year. I don't give a damn what anybody says. I believe Klay Thompson, we will see Klay Thompson this season. And if he comes back anywhere close to what he is, they will make the playoffs. And they could potentially knock somebody out in the first round.
Right, but they have zero chance to win a championship this year. If Charles Barkley is talking about this year, of course, who thinks they have a chance to win a championship other than the guys in the locker room and even them? Forget that.
Yeah.
Going forward, their championship window isn't closed. What is the identity of the Warriors? I always say it, when you boil it down to one person,
Draymond?
It's Steph Curry. Two people, if you expand it a little bit, it's Draymond Green, Steph Curry and Draymond Green. His pick and roll partner, the guy who allows him to play 5 out, the dive on the floor for the loose balls guy, everything. The guy who plays big in the playoffs. If you expand it a little more, his Splash Brother partner, Klay Thompson. Stephen A. is right. He's one of the greatest shooters of all time. He's capable of getting hotter. He gets hotter than any player who ever lived. No player who ever lived gets as hot as Klay Thompson. But now expand it out one more, okay?
Who is it?
You know what the fourth piece was, and it always was? Iguodala. Iguodala. Think of how hard it is to find a guy like this. An elite perimeter defender. A guy who can play point if you need him to, and dribble and pass and all those things. Get his own shot if you need him to. A guy who hits big shots, and an unselfish player willing to do whatever you ask of him, who can finish at the rim, everything, but also will come off the bench, will start, will take the other team's best player, like when Iguodala won Finals MVP the way Kawhi did for the defense he played on LeBron. Iguodala is a hard piece to find, and he was a real core component. Like the Yankees dynasties of the 90s, they used to say the core four. Really, it was 5 with Bernie Williams. The core 4 of the Warriors: Steph, Draymond, Klay, Iguodala. So how do you replace Iguodala? I don't know that you need frontline production, although I understand why you say that. It's a route you could go. You need to draft or find. I doubt you can find it in one player. I think it's going to have to be 2 players who do this. A vicious defender. Team defender who can also defend on the ball. And then you also need to find scoring somewhere else, maybe on your front line. And those 2 pieces aren't impossible to find. You don't need them to be at all-star caliber. You need to be at competent caliber in order to complement Steph, Klay, and Dre, or Steph, Dre, and Klay in that order. I think they do that. They're a competently run organization. I believe this core wins another championship together before it's all over. I don't think the window's closed.
Well, you agree with me. The window's not closed. You know,
This year, there's no window.
Yeah, I didn't say there was a window this
It's a
year.
wall.
But you were talking about you need to see a third guy step up. Who do you think that is? Is it
No,
someone
I'm saying
they
that I don't
currently
think they
have on
have
the
it yet.
roster, or they need to get
I
someone?
wasn't saying they need a third guy to step up. I was saying they need a third scorer, you know, and it can't be D'Angelo Russell. And I'm not saying he can't score. I'm saying that you need somebody from the forward spot that could do. It wasn't just that KD was prolific. It was that KD could guard a 3, he could guard a 4 as well. You need some help on the interior defensively because you got to remember the Clippers shot 63% from the field last night. These brothers were making shots. They hit 50 of their 80 shots.
Bunch of young players they're playing
But
against.
it's just a bunch of young players and what have you. That's the point. So you got to get better defensively. We underestimated the potency of the Golden State Warriors defensively over the last 5 years. They could truly, truly amp it up. Iguodala, Livingston, whether it was Zsa Pachulia, Andrew Bogut before that, with Draymond, with Clay, with
KD.
Steph. You don't have any of that right now.
KD, one of the reasons KD was so great for them, and it didn't have to be KD. They would have destroyed everyone had they gotten Paul George or another just excellent two-way wing. It didn't have to be KD to do it. One of the reasons they needed that, though, is because Iguodala was aging. So people forget how good he was at the start of the run. As time went on, he still was an excellent player, but not quite what he was. And so having KD obviously covered that up and then some. But that's what you, when you think of the defense on that team, Steph Curry's a willing team defender, can't defend on the ball, he's too small. But everybody else on that team was a monster. Draymond Green, you mentioned Bogut. Later on, it was KD, and then it was Iguodala and Livingston and Clay. Everyone you saw was a beast defensively.
Can I ask you guys this? Because we're almost done with the show. The final block, we're going to go through a full slate of NFL games. Obviously, talking a lot of NBA. We're all hyped up out here in LA. But of the 3 California teams, we're going Warriors, Clippers, Lakers. Was it, well...
In Sacramento.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about, because those are the teams we've really been talking about. Was it what you expected? I know with the Lakers it wasn't. Were the Clippers better than you expected? Warriors worse? Lakers worse?
No,
Give me your thoughts.
The Clippers were not. The Clippers were exactly what I expected. I expect them to be too deep at every position. I expected them to be tenacious defensively. Obviously, you've got perimeter shooting with the likes of Shamet and Lou Williams. Patrick Beverley is going to be a spark plug defensively, and he's going to take on the toughest defensive assignments. Doc Rivers utilizing him along with Kawhi Leonard and Mo Harkless, who came from Portland, utilizing them defensively against LeBron interchangeably. Those are all things that I expected. What I did not expect was the passivity of LeBron. That's what I'm focused on. And I understand it was just a game. And I understand there's 81 more games to go. And LeBron James has been around too much, too long to ignore the big picture in favor of the old picture. But what I'm trying to say is that's not what Tuesday night was about. See, if LeBron had played well in June and he was the champion and Kawhi was in town and LeBron had left for L.A., it's no big deal. So what? That type of attitude would have been totally understandable. The problem was while Kawhi was winning a championship, LeBron, for the first time in a decade, was home. He hadn't played since April. We've seen him on social media and beyond working out, going about. We've seen footages of him practicing in the gym when everybody else was on vacation. He gave us every impression he was looking for it. And then when the moment arrived and this brother is in your town, ready to take over, you were like, so what? Which gave credence to your thoughts about it's a business decision.
All 3 teams, was it what you expected?
Yes, but mainly the Clippers. When I say a fish rots from the head down, let's look at every level of the Clippers.
Okay.
How's Ballmer as an owner, Stephen A? Do the players have everything they need?
Yes, everything.
Does he care about it
Yes,
and everything?
he does.
How is Jerry West as an executive? The
Elite.
Greatest of all time.
Elite.
How is Doc Rivers as a coach?
Elite.
A Hall of Fame coach who's a championship caliber coach. How is Kawhi Leonard as your best player? How about Paul George as your second best player? What are you looking for after that? A glue guy who plays defense and can hit a shot? Patrick Beverley. It doesn't get better than that. How's your bench? How's your 6th man? Lou Williams? That's the best in the game. How about your depth? You said they go too deep at every position. That is a franchise. And the story
and they have
to
Ty
me,
Lue.
By the way, Ty Lue, when
Who
the
knows
Lakers,
LeBron
the
so
Lakers
well, yeah.
punted on Ty
Yeah.
Lue, the Clippers said thank you very much and returned it for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Well, you put it that way. What makes it worse is that they knew that's exactly what the Clippers were going to do because everybody in the NBA knows how close Doc Rivers and Ty Lue are. That's like a protege of his. That everybody knows that. It was very predictable where Ty Lue was going to end up.
But again,
because it's
another
Doc
advantage.
Rivers.
Yeah, another advantage there. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk a little football. How about them Cowboys, Stephen A? We haven't mentioned them, it feels like, all week. Is the Michael Bennett trade the key to a Cowboys Super Bowl run? We'll get you set for Sunday's slate of NFL games with Book It or Forget It. And how about this? A Halloween